All right, so let's dive into this deep dive into ARM Holdings.
Okay.
You shared this Motley Fool article that's all about ARM and like their potential role in the AI landscape.
Yeah.
And it's really got me thinking, yeah, it's easy to just think, oh, ARM smartphones.
Right.
But it turns out there's so much more to their story.
Absolutely. Their reach extends far beyond just smartphones.
Yeah.
And they're really, while they dominate in that space, they're also positioning themselves to capitalize on this huge AI boom that's happening.
So for those of us who maybe aren't, super familiar with all the ins and outs of like chip manufacturing,
Right.
can you give us a little breakdown of what ARM actually does? Like what's their role?
So think of them as the architects of the digital world.
Okay.
They design the blueprints for CPUs, the brains of our devices.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, they don't actually manufacture the chips themselves.
Oh?
They license those designs to companies like NVIDIA, Qualcomm,
Mm-hmm.
and those companies then incorporate them into their own products.
Okay, so it's almost like they're like the architect who designs the building, but they don't actually like do the construction themselves.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So how does that actually work in terms of revenue for ARM design?
So that's where their royalty system comes in.
Oh.
Every time a chip is sold that uses an ARM design,
Yeah.
they get a royalty fee.
Oh, wow.
So the more chips sold, the more money they make.
Oh, that's a good business model.
Yeah, it's really brilliant. It's really well suited for a fast-growing sector like tech.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So as the demand for these devices increases, ARM's revenue is just naturally going to grow right alongside it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the Motley Fool article actually pointed out that a lot of ARM's future growth is already baked in
Right.
because of this royalty system.
Yeah, it's built in.
That's amazing.
It's a key reason investors are so excited about ARM.
Yeah.
But we can't forget about their current dominance in the smartphone market.
Sure.
I mean, they power over 99% of smartphones worldwide.
It's incredible. It's hard to even fathom how many devices are using their chips.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we were talking about, AI being the future,
Right.
and smartphones are obviously still huge.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty established market.
Yeah, it's mature.
So how is ARM planning to translate their success in the smartphone world into this whole world of AI?
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
So while they are continuing to see success in smartphones, their real ambitions lie in the realm of AI.
Huh.
And you know what? Even though the smartphone market overall is growing at a more modest pace now, ARM is still seeing substantial growth in that area.
Really?
Yeah, the article mentioned they had a 40% increase in their smartphone royalty revenue,
Wow.
even though the market itself only grew by 4%.
How is that even possible?
So there's a couple factors at play here.
Okay.
First, there's this shift to a newer technology called ARM v9.
Okay.
And this new design commands double the royalty rate compared to its predecessor, ARM v8.
Oh, wow. So it's not just about the quantity of chips sold, it's also the quality of the chips.
Exactly.
And the fact that they can command these higher royalty rates with the newer technology.
It's like upgrading to a premium product.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and there's another really interesting piece of this.
Okay.
The price of the chips themselves is also rising.
Oh, interesting.
A decade ago, a high-end smartphone chip would have cost you around $75.
Yeah.
But today, a comparable Snapdragon chip can set you back $200.
Wow. That's a pretty big jump.
It is. It's significant.
So they're not only getting higher royalties per chip, but the chips themselves are also more expensive,
Right.
which just means more revenue flowing back to ARM.
Precisely. It's a powerful combination that's driving their growth even in a relatively stable market like smartphones.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But as we shift our focus to AI, we start to see even more exciting developments.
Okay.
For example, Microsoft just launched their ARM-based Cobalt data center chips. And Alphabet recently released their own ARM-based Axion chip.
So it seems like they're making some serious inroads into the data center market.
They are, and that's really significant.
Yeah.
These moves are like huge votes of confidence from two of the biggest players in tech.
Yeah.
And, both Microsoft and Alphabet are heavily invested in AI.
Of course.
So it signals that ARM's technology is not just suitable, but highly sought after.
Yeah.
For data centers, which are essential for AI development.
So you're saying these partnerships are likely to fuel even more growth for ARM in the coming years?
Absolutely. This is just the beginning.
Wow, this is really fascinating.
And there's more.
Okay, tell me more.
ARM has another trick up its sleeve. It's called compute subsystems.
Oh, okay, I'm intrigued. Compute subsystem sounds very technical.
So ARM's Compute Subsystems, or CSS, go beyond just designing the CPU.
Okay.
They actually provide a complete packaging solution for chips.
Oh, wow.
So imagine it's like a pre-designed blueprint for how all the components of a chip fit together perfectly.
So they're not just doing the CPU, they're doing like the whole package.
Yeah, exactly. A turnkey solution.
That makes it easier and probably more cost-effective for other companies to create these high-performance chips.
Right.
Yeah.
And because of the added value and convenience of this complete solution,
Right.
ARM can command even higher royalty rates.
So it's like they've thought of everything.
It's a brilliant business strategy.
But with all this talk of growth and potential, we have to address the elephant in the room.
Okay.
ARM's stock valuation.
Yeah.
Some investors consider it pretty expensive.
It's true. It has a high price-to-sales ratio.
Right. Should we be concerned about that?
It's a valid concern, but to understand ARM's value, you need to look beyond just the numbers.
Okay.
Their competitive advantage lies in their incredibly power-efficient CPU architecture.
And that's a game changer, especially for data centers and AI applications.
Absolutely.
Okay, but help me understand this a little bit more. Like, why is power efficiency so crucial
Sure.
for data centers and for AI?
Well, think about it. Data centers consume massive amounts of energy,
Oh,
and
yeah.
AI, with all its complex algorithms and massive data sets, is especially power-hungry.
Right, so their power-efficient designs can actually significantly reduce energy consumption.
Exactly.
And that means lower costs.
Lower costs for data center operators.
Oh, I see. So it's not just about performance, it's about efficiency as well.
Precisely, and that's what gives ARM a significant edge
Okay.
over competitors who might just be focused on raw processing power.
Right.
And that's why, even with the high valuation, the Motley Fool article seems optimistic
Yeah.
about ARM's long-term prospects.
So for our listener out there, if you're interested in AI and its potential, to reshape our future, ARM Holdings is definitely a company to watch.
Without a doubt.
Even though their current valuation seems a bit steep,
Yeah.
their strategic moves in the data center market, coupled with their innovative technology and that brilliant royalty-driven business model, really suggests a bright future.
It does.
This has been so fascinating. And we've just scratched the surface.
Yeah, we have.
There's so much more to explore about ARM's role in this whole AI revolution.
Absolutely.
So stay tuned as we delve deeper into the implications of their technology and really, the exciting future of AI.
I can't wait.
Me too. This is going to be great.
It's really fascinating to think about the impact that these tiny energy efficient chips can have on something as massive as artificial intelligence.
It really is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like, and maybe this is a weird comparison, but those tiny ants that can lift objects many times their own weight,
Yeah.
individually they seem insignificant,
Right.
but collectively
Yeah.
they're a force to be reckoned with.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
It really highlights this crucial aspect of ARM's strategy.
Okay.
They're not just trying to build the most powerful chips.
Right.
They're focused on building the most efficient ones.
And that's a really smart move, especially in the context of AI.
Exactly.
Because AI algorithms are so demanding
Yes.
in terms of processing power.
They are incredibly demanding.
Yeah.
And traditional chips often struggle to keep up with those needs.
And that leads to those huge energy bills
Exactly.
for all those data centers.
Yeah, huge energy bills.
But ARM's architecture
Yeah.
is offering a solution.
It's like they found a way to get more bang for their buck.
Right. Instead of just brute force, they're going for a more elegant and energy-saving approach.
Right.
It's like the difference between a gas-guzzling muscle car
Yeah.
and a sleek, aerodynamic electric vehicle.
I love that.
They can both get you where you need to go,
Yeah.
but one does it with a lot less waste.
Exactly. And as AI applications continue to grow,
Right.
that need for energy-efficient computing is only going to become more crucial.
So we've talked a lot about ARM's royalty model
Yeah.
and how that contributes to their success.
Right.
But is there a potential downside
Mm.
to relying so heavily on royalties?
Okay.
Like, what if their partners,
Uh-huh.
NVIDIA, Qualcomm, they decide to start designing their own chips in-house?
Right.
Wouldn't that cut into ARM's revenue stream?
That's a really good question.
Hmm.
And it is a risk that ARM has to manage carefully.
Yeah.
But you have to remember that ARM has been the leading designer of low-power CPUs for decades.
Right.
They have a wealth of expertise and this huge portfolio of intellectual property that would be really difficult for anyone else to replicate.
Yeah, that's true.
And you also can't forget the scale of their ecosystem.
Right.
Their designs are already integrated into billions of devices worldwide.
Wow, yeah.
So there's a really powerful network effect at play.
So it's not just about the technology itself, it's about these established relationships and the trust that they've built within the industry.
Absolutely. But of course, there's always a possibility that a competitor could come along with some disruptive new technology.
Sure.
So that's why ARM needs to stay on the cutting edge, constantly innovating and evolving.
To maintain that competitive advantage.
Exactly.
And all of that innovation requires a ton of investment.
It does.
And we already talked about how some investors are a little bit wary of ARM's current valuation. So how can they justify these high stock prices if they need to constantly pour money into research and development?
Well, that's the balancing act that they have to manage. You know, investors are looking for returns.
Of course.
But they also understand that in a field like AI, long-term success depends on continuous investment in R&D.
So how do we even begin to assess the true value of a company like ARM? Traditional financial metrics might not capture their full potential.
You're absolutely right. Traditional valuation methods might not work so well when you're dealing with companies that are at the forefront of these technological revolutions. It's not just about analyzing their current financial performance. It's about understanding their potential to shape the future.
It's like trying to assess the value of the internet back in the early 90s.
Exactly.
No one could have predicted the impact it would have.
Nobody knew.
On our lives.
And just as the internet transformed our world in ways we couldn't imagine, AI is poised to do the same. And ARM is right at the heart of that transformation.
They're providing those essential building blocks for this new technological era.
It's exciting.
So maybe investors shouldn't be so focused on that price-to-sales ratio, which is essentially just comparing a company's stock price to its revenue. Maybe they should be thinking more about ARM's long-term potential and their ability to create value in a world that's increasingly driven by AI.
That's a much more insightful way to approach it. Investing in a company like ARM is a bet on the future. A bet on the continued growth and adoption of AI.
It's a bet that could yield substantial returns.
It could, but as with any investment, there are risks and uncertainties.
Of course, no business operates in a vacuum. What are some of the challenges or roadblocks that ARM might face?
So one of the biggest challenges is the ever-increasing complexity of chip design.
Okay.
As AI algorithms become more sophisticated, the demands on the hardware grow exponentially.
So they need to constantly push the boundaries
They do.
of chip design
Yeah.
and constantly innovate to keep pace.
Constantly innovate.
So
Absolutely.
with this rapid evolution of AI.
It's a race to keep up.
And they also can't forget about the competition. I mean,
Yeah.
the chip industry is so fierce
It's intense.
with companies like Intel and AMD
Yeah.
vying for market share.
So how can ARM hold its own?
Yeah, how can they hold their own against these established players?
Well, you're right. The competition is fierce.
Yeah.
But ARM has a key advantage.
What's that?
Their focus on power efficiency.
Right.
And as we've talked about, that's crucial for data centers and AI.
Yeah.
And their unique licensing model
Uh-huh.
allows them to partner with all sorts of companies.
Yeah.
So that gives them incredible reach and flexibility.
So it seems like they've positioned themselves strategically
They have.
to navigate this complex and competitive landscape.
They've done a good job.
But even with all the potential,
Right.
there are still a lot of unknowns about the future of AI.
Absolutely.
Where do you see this technology heading in the next 5 to 10 years?
It's impossible to predict the future with certainty,
Yeah,
especially in a field like AI that's changing so rapidly.
of course.
But we can see glimpses of what might be possible.
Like what?
Self-driving cars are becoming more sophisticated.
Yeah.
Personalized medicine is leveraging AI to develop targeted treatments.
Wow.
And researchers are using AI to tackle these huge global challenges, like climate change.
It's both exciting and a little bit daunting to think about
I agree.
the potential impact.
It's a powerful technology.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember that technology is not inherently good or bad.
Right.
It's how we choose to use it that matters.
That's a really important point.
We need to make sure that AI is developed and deployed ethically,
Yeah.
and that it benefits humanity as a whole.
We've touched on this a little bit, Ro, at our deep dive.
Yeah.
But it's worth emphasizing again.
It is.
It's not just about the technical advancements.
Right.
It's about understanding the societal impact.
Exactly.
And making sure that AI is aligned with our values.
Absolutely. And that's a complex challenge.
It is.
Because AI is so powerful.
Yeah.
It can be used for good or for bad.
Right.
It's up to us as a society to guide its development in a positive direction.
So for our listener out there,
okay,
what can you do to be a part of this conversation?
Well, first and foremost, stay informed.
Okay.
Read about AI. Learn how it works.
Yeah.
Understand the benefits and the risks. Engage in discussions about AI ethics with your friends, your family, your colleagues.
Yeah.
Support organizations that are promoting responsible AI development.
That's great advice.
And don't be afraid to ask tough questions and challenge assumptions.
It's easy to feel overwhelmed by all this rapid
Mm.
pace of technological change.
Right?
But we all have a role to play
We do.
in shaping the future we want.
Exactly. The future of AI is not predetermined.
Okay.
It's something we're creating together.
Right.
Through our choices and our actions.
This deep dive into ARM Holdings and the world of AI has been so insightful.
It has been fascinating.
We've explored their innovative business model,
Yeah.
their strategic moves in the data center market,
Mm-hmm.
and their critical role in enabling this next generation of AI applications.
It's really remarkable.
But we've also touched on some of those broader implications
Mayhap.
of this powerful technology,
Yeah.
highlighting the need for ethical considerations and responsible development.
Absolutely. Those are crucial.
Stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive,
Okay.
where we'll wrap up our discussion
Sounds good.
and leave you with some thought-provoking questions about the future of AI
Looking forward to it.
and its impact on our world. You know, it's amazing to think like how far AI has come
I know, really.
in such a short time.
It's incredible.
It feels like we're like on the cusp
Yeah.
of a whole new era.
It's both exciting and a little scary, right?
It is. It is.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago
Right.
that things like self-driving cars
Yeah.
and personalized medicine were like
Uh-huh.
science fiction,
Yeah.
and now they're becoming a reality.
It's true.
And ARM's technology is playing like a key role
It is.
in making that happen.
Yeah.
And it's not just like the flashy applications.
Right.
AI is being used in so many different fields.
It is.
It's like finance, manufacturing, education, even art.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine an area of our lives that won't be touched by it in some way.
It's true. AI is becoming increasingly pervasive.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to have these conversations about the ethical implications.
It's
We
right.
need to make sure that AI is developed and used responsibly.
With a focus on
Yeah,
benefiting humanity as a whole.
absolutely.
We've talked about this a little bit
We have.
throughout this deep dive,
Mhm.
but it's worth like emphasizing again.
It's crucial.
It's not just about the technology.
Right.
It's about understanding
Yeah.
the societal impact
The impact.
and ensuring that it aligns with our values.
Absolutely. And that's a complex challenge
Yeah, it is.
because AI is a powerful tool
Yeah,
and it can be used for good or bad.
it can
Yeah, it's up to us as a society.
to kind of guide its development
Yeah.
in the right
A
direction.
positive direction.
So for our listener out there,
Okay.
what can you do?
What can you do to be part of this conversation?
Yeah, how can they help shape the future of AI?
Well, first and foremost, stay informed.
Okay.
Read about AI, learn how it works,
Yeah.
understand the benefits and the risks,
Uh-huh.
engage in discussions about AI ethics
Yeah.
with your friends, your family, your
Yeah.
colleagues. Support organizations that are promoting responsible AI development.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to ask tough questions
Right.
and challenge assumptions.
It's easy to feel overwhelmed
Right.
by all of this. Like
I know it's a lot.
the pace of change
Yeah, it's fast.
is so fast.
It is.
But we all have a role to play
We do.
in shaping the future that we want.
And the future of AI is not predetermined.
Yeah.
It's something we are creating together
Yeah.
through our choices and actions.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive
It has.
into ARM Holdings and the world of AI.
I've really enjoyed it.
It's been a real eye-opener. We've
Well-
learned so much about their technology.
Yeah, their business model,
Yeah, their business model,
their ambitions.
their ambitions to be a driving force in this AI revolution.
They're definitely a company to watch.
They are. And their success really speaks to
Yeah,
like the power of human ingenuity
it does.
and our ability to kind of push those boundaries of what's possible. But as we've discussed, technological advancement
Right.
is only part of the story.
It's just the beginning.
The real challenge lies in ensuring that AI is developed and used ethically in a way that benefits all of humanity.
It's a challenge that requires collaboration, critical thinking, and a commitment to creating a future where technology serves humanity, not the other way around.
We hope this deep dive has given you some valuable insights into the world of AI.
Absolutely.
And Arm's role in shaping its future.
Yeah. It's an exciting space.
It is.
Lots to think about.
We encourage you to keep exploring this field and to really engage in those thoughtful discussions about the ethical and societal implications of this really transformative technology.
It's going to change everything.
Keep learning, keep questioning, and keep imagining the possibilities.
Because the future of AI is in our hands.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us this sport.